We want to have like a little icebreaker question to you to make it easy to transition into the discussion. So maybe you can give us a little impulse, like a bit come back from the business point of view. What personal impact or what personal contribution are you undertaking for being more sustainable in your everyday life? Maybe Philipp, do you want to start?
Well, first one and biggest one is I stopped using cars a lot. So I have the great opportunity that our office building is very near the place that I live. So my daily commute, I've invested in a little e-bike from a nice German startup company, and I'm really enjoying using that e-bike for my daily commute to work. So I think that is pretty much the biggest impact that I personally had over the last years.
Very great impact indeed, and e-bike. So there is already the transition to Jan. Maybe your greatest impact in your personal life. Can you give us a little insight?
I think the greatest impact is that I'm also a vegetarian since more than 10 years. And beside that, I also try to buy sustainable products. And yeah, I think that's my impact I try to make.
Great. Okay, I empathize with the being vegetarian. And Anna, how about you? What is your personal impact in your everyday life?
Well, of course, I think like everyone, I try to lead a more sustainable life. I have a pescatarian diet and I don't have a car, I bike. Of course, that's easy to do in Copenhagen, where I live. Of course, reduce plastics and all the reduce water consumption, all the small things that I think added up can make things better.
Great.
That sounds good. So I like it that we all have the aim, at least by heart, to live sustainable in this case. I'm not vegetarian, but maybe it's all about the meat tech and whatever. So if it's a mixture, it's always good. Jan, I was impressed about your focus in your research with the additive manufacturing and remanufacturing. In that case, if you work in R&D projects and you work together with lots of industry people, how is the communication if it comes to real deep dive in sustainability? Do you have the feeling this is really a common thing? Are there any fights in your project on that?
I think those companies who already participate in those research projects are already keen to work with us in those fields. And so I don't think that there are big fights with us or within the project. But of course, you can see it inside some businesses, the different business units and which are competing. And there it's also a matter of costs, of course. So it's not just about sustainability.
I just stuck on you in that case because you're the guy with the research and working together with the industry. So you're talking about the costs, and costs is often, let's say, a challenging point of view. How is your personal feeling out of research to make the innovative research and the transfer into the industry? How does it actually work for you working together with the industry?
That works quite well. I think you have there this holistic view that you must consider when it comes to additive manufacturing and sustainability. So just producing a part with a 3D printer is often more costly than doing it in a conventional way. And so beside the lower resource consumption, for example, compared to the subtractive manufacturing, you can also think about function integration or decentralized manufacturing, which also plays an important role to reduce warehousing and transportation costs. And this is also an aspect we are focusing on to reduce those costs, for example, in the spare part supply chain.
Okay, perfect. Maybe a question to you, Anna. I was deeply impressed that you've been using living creatures like mushrooms for your project. So, can you maybe give us a little more insights on why did you choose the 3D printing technology for your idea? What are the opportunities here for sustainability in concrete?
Yes. Yeah, that's a very good question. So there's a movement going on now of course, trying to find alternative solutions, more sustainable from the material point of view. So these biomaterials are more and more often in the research, and some in industry as well, employing bacteria or fungi, for example. But a lot of these are focused on different manufacturing technologies, such as casting. That's the most common that is used with fungal linocellulosic composites, which is what we've been working on as well. And that implies, of course, just having a mold and then casting the material with the living organism and then allowing it to grow. But of course, organism needs oxygen to grow and develop. So what that results in growth that is mostly on the perimeter, on the surface of the component, right? So the inside is not really transformed, and it is a bit weaker and less resistant to humidity and things like that. So we employ 3D printing as a core element of how we do research in this project, because it really allows for a distribution of a very high surface area relative to volume. So that means that it's a lot more growth. So that means a lot more biotransformation relative to more traditional means of fabrication. So this is really important in specifically the field of biofabrication. I think 3D printing is potentially can help a lot. And of course, the fact that functional integration that's also comes from for free, basically, with additive manufacturing, and the possibility to have really high resolution in the printed component. So I think, yeah, this is really important, and I think that the ability, maybe at a core element, the ability to, through computational means, and then coupled with digital fabrication, additive manufacturing, we can really guide and enhance the biological processes that we employ. So yeah.
Okay, great. There was a keyword, transformation, growth transformation, I think you said. And we had a question, Chris, to Philipp in this regard.
Actually, if we come here from additive manufacturing to biofabrication, and here, Philipp, this was really, really great when you designed and started the new performance of the design of the brush. So congrats again on that. This is actually a really meaningful point. The question I have in that case, this is all about data. And you created this through your digitalization, your work and your deep dive into CAD. So where do you see still, let's say, the challenges in using and generating the CAD? And where do you see the possibilities which will be grown through using CAD and rethinking performance and focusing sustainability in products?
Well, that's a really interesting question, because there are a lot of different ways on how to tackle that answer. Let me try two sides here. First of all, the one thing is, somewhere in the process, even if it's a highly technical and highly digitalized process, there's an engineer or a designer who has to be part of the idea of the creation. And we need to be able to find and get the people who have the imagination and the creativity to get these new technologies really working. So it's a lot about learning and giving knowledge in that. The second thing is the digital process should not be understood as a standalone piece of the whole thing. You always have to consider the digitalization of the cut, and then after how it is produced. What I increasingly see in my daily life is that there's new tools, new CAD system that help us to do it, but software is always a tool, and in the end it's a human behind it that has to have the imagination and the ability to really get these projects working.
I like the idea that you say CAD is, let's say, like 3D printing, additive manufacturing is just a tool to implement that. Where do you see the challenges in scalability? If you say you need this to use it as a tool, but to scale it to come to real industrial life?
So we are at a point where the software we use is so powerful that we can create completely automated processes. So we, doing the 3D Pioneers Challenge, we're using a very new tool called NTOP, and that allowed us to create a really completely autonomous and automatic process to do that. Meaning that today we can take the inside of your machine, that internal channel of your combustion engine that you're producing and want to clean, and take the inside geometry, feed it into the system we created, and within minutes on the other end there's a completely finished brush. That is really fascinating and really great to do, but it's absolutely amazing and inspirational how you can go from there. So that's just the first step in then getting our products and how we interact with our products more and more individual without increasing the workforce behind.
Okay, I heard a lot of technical terms, and I'm not the technical person. So I want to move on to give this whole debate on sustainability a more holistic perspective, maybe. So I was wondering, because everything you said is very innovative and technical, and I was wondering maybe to you, Anna, first, and then Philipp, you too, and even Jan, maybe as one aspect. How do you look on social aspects in your value chain when you manufacturing with mushrooms or manufacturing a brush? How about the social aspects of it, Anna? How do you look on this perspective?
I think that's important. I completely agree. That's an important aspect of the sustainability. But in with I mean we are in academia, not in the corporate environment, and it's it's mainly just us working on the project. It's me and my PhD supervisor and our collaborator. So there's with regards to the social aspect of the chain, there isn't much involvement on that. Of course, we're hoping if this catches on to grow and also affect the industry more, and then of course then we'll we'll be very careful with that, and we'll employ, I guess, experts that are aware of social sustainability and yeah, follow that.
Great, thank you, Anna. Maybe Jan, because I think e-bikes is like close to our everyday life. Maybe I don't have an e-bike yet, but how do you feel about this social aspect of changing behaviors? Because it's all about us humans changing in our behavior to make this world a more sustainable one. So, how do you integrate this social aspect, behavioral aspect, into your research?
Yes, we also look at this point because in my point of view it's the behavioral aspect and also the acceptance from the end customer. So you have to show them that it is possible and show them different options which are more sustainable than others. And I think this is like from the local aspect to the global, you can also see there a shift in the value chain because of this additive manufacturing and also remanufacturing, which enables a decentralized production. And this entails also a change in the global value chain.
Okay, perfect. And you, Philipp, maybe your product is very close to our everyday life as well with the brush. Do you look at the social aspects, maybe even in your company? How do you integrate that in your decision making or product life cycle?
Well, the idea behind the brush, it came when I have two little baby boys, and I was one day cleaning the bottle of the feeding bottle with the brush and was totally annoyed. Like many people, I believe I want to do the right thing, and I looked at that thing and thought, that's made virtually impossible to recycle. There's no way that we can get that back into our production cycle, into the cradle-to-cradle concept, if you will. And on the other hand, I was totally inspired by nature, who does it all within one material. And I wanted to give people the choice to make a better choice for themselves. And I know it's only one part and a small part of the whole sustainability, but we have to start somewhere, and that's something I really like and enjoy doing.
Okay, perfect.
Maybe from the
If I
point
can
of
jump
view.
in, sorry, Lucy. Sorry, if I
Yes.
can interrupt, because
Anna.
I think I might have misunderstood your question. Yes, I think from the societal point of view, the way it's being received, I think that's actually also a really relevant question for our project, because I think we have a certain kind of connotation and association with microorganism, and then in many cases that tends to be more seen as pathogens, and of course that category still exists. But I think there's a really interesting multitude and biodiversity of microorganisms that can do all sorts of things, right? From antibiotics to yogurt to why not buildings. So I think interfacing with the societal perspective of this, I think, is also important for us, and trying to see also the positive things. And I think we try to do that through speaking, right, to society, and then exhibitions and different ways of explaining. Yeah, and I just engaging, I think, the audience in discussions around this.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
super.
Thanks for
Thank
adding
you,
that
Anna.
one. That was actually something like the next question we would like to focus on. So where do you see the bottlenecks if you want to really bring it and to a whole community to really live that and to use advanced technologies in a holistic sustainability focus? So where do you see still the bottlenecks where we really should go and to push it forward? Maybe Anna, again, in that case a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, of course, additive manufacturing is already used in several parts in industry, right? In construction as well. It's being used with concrete and 3D printing. I was also involved in a project where in Copenhagen we 3D printed one of the first buildings in Europe with that permit. But I think it's interesting to also reflect on the material side of things and the full cycle analysis, right? Like, where does it come from and where does it end up? And I think for that we don't have such a full infrastructure in place, and especially when working with biofabrication, a whole another set besides additive manufacturing that also comes with processing the materials and having the full, right, like in the case of the meat, right, tech, there's all sorts of things that are needed in place to scale it up that aren't right now, such as the laboratories and the intermediary state for us that are in between laboratory and additive manufacturing workshop. So I think to really scale that up and employ biofabrication at the scale of architecture, I think there's some way to go with regards to infrastructure and also as well how the expectations that we have for materials, right? Because this is not going to perform in the same way as concrete and steel, right? For example, just from the point of view of age, right? It does biodegrade, which is a good thing, but it also means that it has a limited life cycle, right? So I think that needs to be taken into account in the management and repair of buildings, right? Instead of expecting that they are done the moment that the tenants move in and the scaffolding are done, right? This working with these kinds of materials that are more sustainable, I think, also implies a different relationship that we have to materiality.
Thanks. We are running kind of out of time, which is fun because it's such an interesting panel, I think. I would like to have one more question, maybe to all of you. Which circumstances you have in your mind you would like to tune that through advanced technologies and sustainability we can move forward in a holistic way to bring it everywhere around?
Okay.
Philipp.
So you mind if I jump in? So we have this very modern technology at our hand, and we are currently all working hard on it to improve on it. And that is usually on the production side, meaning from the material to the finished product. I believe we should put more effort into creating the way back, so to say, of the life cycle, to create a way that we can take the product after the use, keep its value of the material, and feed it back again into a new life. And there's something where we as an industry maybe have some work to do to give ourselves and the industry as a whole really this complete system to get this recycling program running.
For just 2 sentences on that, which circumstances you would like to tune to bring sustainability through advanced technologies to life? Jan, you can hear us?
So, yes, I can hear you. So I think we have to transfer it and also, as already mentioned, take it into the design of products. And then it is also possible to help transfer this additive manufacturing into practice and contribute to the circular economy in this way.
And Anna? Thanks, Jan. Anna, 2 last sentences?
Yes, I think it would be nice to see maybe more collaboration between academia and practice, because I think we have different things to offer, and I think that's an interesting circumstance that I would like to see more.
Okay, perfect. So we heard about technology. Let's use technology as good as possible for sustainability, and let's make it by design, sustainability by design. And I think this is it was a great inspirational debate today, and I'll thank you, Chris, for being here with me. And it was great to listen to such innovative projects and showing us you have to be brave and innovative, and you can make this world a better place. So let's use technology and 3D printing. Oh no, this direction. To make it a more sustainable one, and let's not forget to think about sustainability in a more holistic way, not only ecologic but also social, and let's make it a profitable way to make business today. Thank you so much.